So nice to have everybody. Let's see. Okay, we are live on Instagram. Hello, InstaWorld. Hello, Zoom. Hello, Facebook. We are everywhere, so we can officially get started. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday. We do this every Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to say this first and foremost because I think this is important. If you can't make the session, this is recorded. This is posted on our Facebook at Akaloa Wellness. This is also shared on our website. So usually by the end of Wednesday, by the end of the day, you can get access to the replay, and then you'll even get a blog post with all of the notes. So in case you can't be here for the whole thing, I just want to share that. Usually I wait till the end, but it's always nice to just share that up front. I hope you're all doing great. It's Wednesday. Today is all about sleep deprivation, and I'm really excited to share this because I didn't sleep last night. And so I've been up since 4 a.m., actually 3:09 this morning. And so what I want to do, I live it, I experience it, we all go through it, and I want to share some hacks so you can work through it on your own, because I think we all deal with sleep deprivation here and there. So before we go any further, my name is Lauren Baptiste, and I'm an executive wellness coach. I am an international speaker. I am an Ayurvedic health counselor and a couple of other things. But importantly, I founded my firm Akaloa Wellness, which inspires individuals to thrive. So what we do is we learn techniques to break through stress, break through the impediments that are holding us back from our greatest potential. And so we do this in really simple, tangible, easy ways to thrive. I'm so excited to be here today. This is our third session about sleep. And the one thing I keep hearing is I'm not sleeping during this time of quarantine. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Stressors are high, the sun is out really late, right? So sometimes it's even 10 or 11 o'clock before it's even dark out. We don't feel tired, and then we wake up groggy the next morning. So the last couple of sessions, we've focused more on why sleep is important. And then the second one being more about how to set yourself up for a good night's rest. And then there's times where it's all well and good, but I still can't sleep. And so I want to walk you through a couple of extra techniques. We have 5 that we're going to go through today that will help you sleep better if you wake up. And so the idea for these is meant to help you in that situation where either it's just later than it should be, and I have my second wind and I can't fall asleep. And part of that we can talk through is really because if we're after 10 o'clock, 10 at night, we start to deal with a second wind. So then it becomes harder to fall asleep. But then there's the other where I went to sleep, I fell asleep for a few hours, and it's 3:09 in the morning and I'm bright awake. And so I have a couple of techniques that will help you through that. And I think it was just divine that I got that opportunity so I can share with you how I worked through it in a real way. And so these 5 techniques are meant to be simple. They're meant to be something that you can just work towards if you're in bed and struggling, right? We're not going to go through something that's really intense or really hard, because sometimes in the middle of the night that can just feel too challenging. I know sometimes even when I'm too cold in bed, I just don't even get up because I'm so lazy. So we talked about the temperature and the touch being important last week, so I'll skip that. So let's dive right in to these 5 techniques to help with sleep deprivation, what we do when we can't sleep. And so the first thing I want to say is if you are heading to bed and you just have a lot on your mind, what I like to do is call it a mind dump or a gratitude dump on a notepad right next to my nightstand. So I often have a journal there, or maybe even just the notepad on my phone. And if I have a lot of oh my gosh, I have all these things to do tomorrow, or, oh wow, I didn't get through this whole list that I meant to today, I write it down. And there are studies that talk to why this is so important. The idea of allowing it to actually get out of the mind and land somewhere on a piece of paper actually gives us a lot of solace. And since we're all working so hard and we're going through our day to day, and for most of us, it's dealing with that never ending list of to-dos, this can be a really nice way before you go into bed to let it go. Because if you notice, sometimes you'll wake up in the middle of the night and the first thing you think of is that thing that you didn't finish. or maybe that one thing you forgot. And so to the best you can, let it out. Even if you're working through an argument with somebody, or you just have an email that you forgot to send, write it down. And right when you wake up in the morning, you have a list of things that you can take care of in the morning. And so it helps be more organized. It helps you really just release what's going on in the noggin. And a lot of this is all about calming the mind, because a lot of times our body is actually exhausted, right? The body is physically able to maybe rest or stay still, but it's the mind that won't stop running. So that's the first technique. So before we really get into bed, this is one thing we can do. And if for some reason we wake up in the middle of the night and we're still struggling, what I want to suggest is writing down a few things that balance what's on your mind. So if you're really focused on this to-do list, what I would encourage you to write is a list of maybe the things that you did accomplish in the day that give you more ease, that you accomplished what you need to. Very often they'll talk about sleep and paralleling it to our life, and really that sleep being the ages beyond our life, the death or the afterlife. And so what happens in a day, and we talk about this in Ayurveda, are these circadian rhythms. So in the morning, we don't have a ton of energy, the sun is rising, even we start to go into our workday, into our life, and then it starts to ease up or ease down, I guess, the trajectory of this little graph I'm drawing with my hand. But the idea is that things should start to slow down. So if you notice that you're dealing with a lot of mental fatigue and stress, it's important to start to work with that. So I would encourage you to listen to the episode from last week again if you're starting to feel that, and how you can start to work towards a positive bedtime routine. But again, start to think about more positive things, start to let go. If I didn't do it today, it's okay. Tomorrow is another day and I can do it then. And so it's really important to start to almost negotiate with the mind. Don't let the mind win. Say, okay, we can freak out, but let's wait till the morning. And it sounds simple, and sometimes it's hard at first, but we actually can start to train the mind to calm down. And that's the most beautiful part of the practice that we're in. It's reframing the mind so that we can deal with the same stressors, but in a much less detrimental way, or should even say in a more positive and uplifting way. All right, that's the first one. The second one that we'll go into that I will offer is a foot massage. Now, you can do this before you go to bed. You can do this if you wake up in the middle of the night. And a foot massage, not only does it feel nice on the feet and it's relaxing, but what you're doing is the foot correlates to the entire body. So if you've heard of something like reflexology, there's a correlation there. And the idea is that the entire body is mapped out on our feet. And so if we don't have time for a whole body massage, and often in the middle of the night, the last thing I want to do is get up and give myself a full body massage. I'm just too tired. What I can do is just kind of pull my foot in towards me and then massage each foot for a few minutes, massage the heel, the arch, the ball, the toes, even the space between the toes, and just start to fixate your mind on that massage motion. Often you'll get tired enough that you'll want to go back to sleep. So that's one really beautiful thing that you can do just sitting in your bed, and it can be really simple. Now, the next thing, if for some reason my mind is still running, even though I did the mental dump on a pad of paper, even though I rubbed my feet, the next thing that I will go to is mantra prayer. And so whether you have, actually, let's say this, we all have a mantra running in our mind all day long. So that mantra for you in that moment can be, I got to send that email. I got to send that email. What's going to happen if I don't send that email? Notice, mantra doesn't have to be in a different language. A mantra doesn't have to be anything religious per se. It's really just, what are we continuing to repeat in our mind? And if I'm repeating that I'm never ahead enough, I'm always behind, I'm not good enough, all of a sudden this becomes our prayer. This becomes what we ask for, and this becomes what happens. And so what's really important when we're thinking about mantra prayer, it can be a religious prayer, but it is nice to just create a sound, a vibration, something that repeats. And so even if you're just doing the mantra of Om, and you can just say Om or hum or just breathe it silently. And then when you fully exhale, take a deep inhale and softly repeat. So we don't want to wake up our partner, because then that creates this whole other thing if we're sleeping with somebody. But if we're sleeping alone, you can create that noise. If not, just do it silently. I even have I don't have them in front of me, but I have a string of mala beads, and that's 108 beads plus the one teacher guru bead at the top with usually the little tassel. And I'll just sometimes even hold those and just keep going through one prayer per bead. And what that's
Yes,
doing,
I have a question.
um, hold on
I,
just
I,
one
I have a
moment.
question. Hello, Lauren.
Yes.
Lauren, how much is too much?
Okay. So I am going to take questions in the chat only. And I have a feeling that we may be getting bombed again. So I am just going to turn off all video, all sound is off. Give me just one moment, please. Okay. All right. So I would say if you're watching this right now, I would say let's avoid the video in case anything comes up. So I would hide and just click on the right side of the screen if you're watching this on Zoom, and you can just focus on me speaking. And if anything is happening in the chat, let's ignore that. Don't worry about it. And so in terms of going into the mantra, that is the next thing that we can do. And then let's go into the next one, the fourth idea, the fourth thing that we can do when we're sleep deprived and when we can't sleep. And that is getting up to drink spiced milk. And so milk has a really heavy quality, a beautiful quality. And what that can actually do is create an easier way to fall asleep. And so what I want to encourage here for each of you is to start to think about how you can drink more spiced milk and how you can bring that into your life. Okay. And so spiced milk here, what you can do is you can do it with a turmeric or a golden milk blend. Another thing that you can also consider is a saffron or a cardamom or even a nutmeg mixture. And by doing that, you can start to really get a better sleep. And so that's if you cannot go through all the other things that we talked about. And for some reason that you're just like, I still can't sleep, what I'm going to do instead is wake up, get up, make myself a spiced milk. And then that should help the heavy quality, the sweet quality should help you get back to bed and rest. And so that's the fourth one. And let me see. All right. And then the last thing that I just want to talk about, just for now and just for today, is this idea of allowing yourself to go with the flow of your body. So if, for example, you can't look, if, for example, you can't actually wake up or you can't fall back to sleep, if you can't fall back to sleep, then what I'm going to suggest is if it's after 4 a.m. in the morning, just allow yourself to wake up. So today it was 3:09. I stayed in bed for about an hour. And then what I did instead, because I knew I wouldn't fall back to sleep, is I just woke up. And what that's going to do is instead of fighting it and then falling back asleep around 5 or 6 and then waking up groggy, what I'm actually doing is getting the opportunity to start my day on the right foot. That time before 6 a.m. is actually a really precious time. It's a time that we can meditate and we're more conscious and focused. So that's what I want to suggest for each of you is if you feel like it's after 4 and you can't go back to sleep, wake up, go through your day, and I promise you tomorrow, or I should say even tonight, you'll sleep better because you'll be tired by the end of the day. So those are the things that we're going through today. We are going to keep a pad next to our bed. We're going to massage our feet if we need to. We're going to invite mantra prayer. And then lastly and importantly, the spice milk. And then just waking up, right? If we need to wake up, then wake up. And that way you can continue to follow your circadian rhythm and then fall asleep, hopefully tonight by 10 a.m. p.m. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining this week. I really appreciate everyone's really sweet comments and encouragement, and I appreciate everyone joining today. So I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. I hope that you sleep better tonight. And if you have any questions, just look back on the last few episodes to help you understand why sleep is so important and how you can sleep better and the tools and the techniques to just really feel great. So wishing you an incredible week. I hope to hear from you soon. And in the meantime, I will see you next week. Take care.